You can get high breathing air, because generally what we do is we don't breathe very much air. We just only breathe like this, just enough to stay alive. The breath flight is when you breathe more air than you want. The reason I say more air than you want is because we have resistance. So the whole point of the buzz breath, because it will make you high, is that what we want to do as unworlders trying to accomplish unworlding and go to the unworld and do what we want instead of being here in this physical world doing what we're told is, it's very simple. What you have to do is you have to dissolve the world. And the way to do that is to breathe more air than you want. You don't have to breathe fast, but I get kind of excited when I, get more air than I want, and I just want more and more. But first there is a resistance, which is why I say more air than you want. Because at first you say, oh, I don't want to. I just want to breathe like normal and almost die. You can breathe through your nose if you want. I'd rather breathe through my mouth. I guess I'm just greedy that way. The trick to the buzz breath, where you start is by the belly breath, the chest breath, the back breath, the rib cage breath, instead of that's where we start. Well, we want to move on from there. We want to learn how to actually get air inside your body. Okay? So here's what you do. The buzz breath is all about proportionality. Let's talk about that later. Disproportionality. Belly breath. Breathe down into your belly. Belly goes out when the air goes in. You pretend your lungs are in your belly. Abdomen goes out. When you exhale, abdomen goes back in. Okay? On the other hand, you can breathe with your chest, in which case your rib cage expands out to the sides. The upper chest breath is actually all about expanding your rib cage. The way to make sure that you're doing that is for your collarbones to go up, your shoulder blades to go up, and for your eyebrows to go up. That's the ultimate sign that you're getting air in the upper part of your chest. Look at my eyebrows. Are they going up? My shoulder blades going up? They're back there, but you can't see them. Okay, so what you got to do is you got to gently raise your shoulders up in order to get more air into your lungs, the top part of your lungs. Okay? And on the belly breath, you go out with the belly, and that's how you get more air into the bottom part of your lungs. You don't think about your lungs because your lungs don't have any brains, but your belly's got brains and your shoulders got brains. So what you got to do is think about your belly and your shoulders. When you put them together, it's called the breath of flight. When you forget about all technique and just make sure about the disproportionality, that's called the buzz breath, because it just gets you high. Well, the breath of flight, you also get high because you incorporate everything you know and do everything just right. But what you can't do is just get all worried about, oh, is my belly going out? Oh, is my eyebrows going up? Stuff like that. And then you get really high, and you got to make sure you're lying down, which I'm not, because I'm I'm an old timer. I've been breathing for a long time now, and I don't usually fall down just on account of breathing more air than I want. Although I did once in public. And fortunately, I was just a hitchhiker, so nobody stopped to help me. Because if somebody does stop to help you these days, unlike when I was a hitchhiker back in my early youth, in my third or fourth childhood, these days everybody's got a cell phone. So if you go breathing more air than you want in public, fall down, by the time you wake up 2 seconds later, there could be like a whole ambulance squad there, or maybe even a SWAT team. And, if a SWAT team shows up, they're going to kill your dog, and they'll probably shoot your grandmother. So you don't want to do this in public, especially if you're walking your dog or, walking your grandmother or whatever. So here goes, breath of flight. Why do I go like this with my mouth? Well, I used to try to do it with my mouth open because I thought, well, I want more air, right? Problem is, if you got your mouth way open, then your lungs get full too fast. And so what I do is I close my mouth and make a jet. Then my lungs get filled up at the right speed. Okay, now if you're only doing the belly breath, which is fine, you can just do that for practice. Then you want to make a nice tight jet, like that. Okay, but if you're going to do your upper chest breath also, then what you want is open up a little further, like that. Basically, you adjust the hole so that you get the inhale lasting the right amount of time, because what you want to do is keep yourself from inhaling too fast. Because if you inhale too fast, you won't get enough air. So you regulate the speed of the inhale, the air going in, by the size of the jet. I also, if I'm really relaxed and walking down the street, don't do this while you're walking. You have to be lying down. I do it while I'm walking because I know how. I don't pass out in public anymore. I tried that once. You can go in through your nose if you want, but I can't do that very often. I started doing this when I was just like, my second or third childhood, maybe like about, I think I was 23, 24 or something like that. I can't stand it. I hate cameras so bad. Just go away. Don't watch this video. I don't hate you. I almost said I hate you. What happens if I say I hate you? You come here and kill me. It's okay. I don't care. Whatever. Okay, so the buzz breath, obviously, it obviously doesn't get me high or make me vibrate or anything. I hate cameras so much. Okay, this is just going to be a short video. This does get you high. It makes you buzz and vibrate, and it makes it able for you to go to sleep immediately, anytime you want. For the most part, you got to practice it. It puts you into an altered state of consciousness, and that's what unrolling is all about. You want to lay there for an hour and try to get relaxed, fine. But personally, I would prefer to do some serious breathing for 5 minutes and get into an altered state immediately and feel vibrations immediately. Because it's cool, it's really fun, and it's neat, and it's nice, and I like it. It's a handy tool. It pushes that snake right up your spine, not literally, but it can. And it did, it did do that to me when I was about 24 years old, and I was going to get thrown out of the Hot Springs resort where I was living because it was a consciousness village, which means the owner was very conscious of whether or not he was making any money off of us people that was living there. He wasn't making any money off of me, so he threatened to throw me out for not paying any rent. But he was kind of a nice guy at heart, he was a triple Scorpio, but he couldn't really help that. He was just born that way. So what I did is, well, they said they were going to evict everybody who didn't get their 2 hours breathing session in every day. I said, well, I don't like to breathe. It's scary. Because I got this resistance thing, when you first start breathing like this, your mind says, are you joking? I'm not going to breathe that much air. That hurts and it doesn't feel good. It makes me dizzy and it makes me hungry and I don't want to. Or if you're a girl, it makes me cry. I start thinking about all the stuff that happened to me when I was a child and all that kind of stuff. Personally, I'm not into the whole idea of trying to relive your past traumas. I would personally prefer to take the trash out and leave it outside, but that's just me. So, the owner of this place, Leonard Orr, the founder of Rebirthing, was telling us you gotta get rebirthed every day or move out. So I wasn't getting rebirthed every day. I was doing rebirthing, but I wasn't getting rebirthed. And all it is a breathing session, just like I just showed you. Just exactly like I just showed you. But you do it for 2 hours. And your hands close, your mouth, your feet. I call it the creeping crud, but the real word is tetany. It doesn't hurt you, and it's harmless. And I love it. I enjoy it when I get paralyzed and I can hardly move. It's basically, probably maybe theoretically hypothesizally the creeping crud is some sort of a onset of sleep paralysis is trying to happen while you're moving. You're moving a lot because you're breathing hard and take more air than I want, like I said, right? Okay, so you got a rebirther keep saying more air, more air, more air for 2 hours, and you definitely go into the creeping crud if you're not used to it. I don't know if I can go into the creeping crud anymore. I try, but there's nobody saying more air, more air, more air. So I don't know. If you want to come to my house and sit by my bed and say more air, more air, more air, I would appreciate it because I'm curious as to whether this tetany thing, it's not related to tetanus. It's harmless. Tetany. Whether or not this tetany is still applicable in my case since I've been doing a lot of breathing for a long time. I was telling a story about at the hot springs. I said, hell with your 2 hours a day. That's a bunch of hokey mokey. I'm going to breathe just like this 24 hours a day. And I did. Because I was really scared. I was tired of being on the street off and on throughout my whole entire 34th childhood, and I wanted to stay at the hot spring for a long time. Not till it snowed, but for me at that point, 3 or 4 months was a really long time. And because I was only 24 at that point, or 3 or 4 months to do the math, it's a pretty large proportion of your life. Whereas now, 3 or 4 months is like hiddly diddle. It's nothing. I could go through 3 or 4 months of pure torture, in seconds because I'm so old. It's because it's poor proportionality. Now, what happened when I started doing this here, more air than you want, 24 hours a day, and nobody had to tell me because I had adrenaline. I was scared of being out on the street again. I did not want to go back to my family. They already threw me out enough times. Forget all that. So what I did is I did this breathing on my own because of the adrenaline and the enthusiasm, and I was self-righteous and pissed off. I said, hell with you guys. You're not going to throw me out of here. I breathe more than you. And I did for a month. I didn't stop breathing that way for a whole month. And that's when I had my first unworlding, so they call it astral projection, out-of-body experience. Well, that was my first time, okay? I've been trying to do that for 10 years off and on. I couldn't do it. I didn't know how. I had no instructions. Even Robert Monroe's awesome book didn't have any instructions. Not enough for me. I had to leave the hot springs eventually because I got so happy breathing that I figured, I'll just go get a job and pay off my debts and stuff instead of sitting here breathing all my whole life. But I did intend to, I planned to breathe like that the rest of my life. But when you aren't living at age of 24 at a hot springs, beautiful resort in the high mountains of the Sierra in California, and everybody around you understands why you're breathing, and they don't make fun of you for it, and they don't fire you for breathing hard at work, and it's easy to do at the hot springs, but then you move back to town, and suddenly it's like you don't want anybody to see you breathing like a maniac. So I ended up going back to my same old self. But for a month, I was in a state of samadhi or enlightenment or awakenment or whatever the hell they want to call it. And I was the happiest person you ever saw. I quit picking up cigarette butts off the ground and everything. I mean, I was one happy camper. I didn't have an argument with anybody. I could go to sleep anytime. I did not worry or evaluate. I didn't do nothing. I didn't need to meditate. I was totally meditated all out. And it was extremely awesome, a total enlightenment experience. I don't believe in permanent enlightenment, by the way. Maybe you're permanently enlightened, but, it costs too much. I can't afford the course, so never mind. I'll give me a meditation patch, put it right here, and absorb the enlightenment right through my skin before I go, I don't need permanent enlightenment. I enjoy the up-down a little bit. I've been doing this since 1980, a little earlier, off and on, more off than on, because, as they say, life gets in the way. So disproportionality is very important. You want to spend more time on your inhale than on your outhale. Okay, are you paying attention? Disproportionality is very important. More inhale than outhale. More time. You want to outhale faster. After the outhale, you want to have a tiny fraction of a second stop. Right there. I'm exaggerating right now. The reason I talk funny is because they knocked my teeth out, but that's a different story. I'll make a video about that sometime. Before they knocked my teeth out, I just talked like a regular person. Actually, I didn't talk much at all. I tried not to anyways. Ever since I got my teeth knocked out, I'm more like I walk around like a, professional comedian or something. I didn't say I was funny, but if I think I'm funny and I walk around, I think life's funny and I think everything's kind of interesting and stupid, then what the heck, it doesn't hurt. It's just better than going around thinking, am I doing the right thing? Am I doing the right thing? Forget that. That's just a bunch of noise. Forget all that. So exaggerate it as much as you want, but don't hurt yourself. Don't strain your gut. Don't strain your brain. Just enjoy breathing and get addicted to breathing more air than you want. I think I'm going to end this video now. You do get vibes. You should do it lying down until you're really good at it. And if you're going to walk around and stuff, like I do every day at nighttime on a long dirt road, because it reminds me of the hot springs. After they threw me out, I walk on a long dirt road. I walk to town because they say you got to go live in town. Okay, I'll go live in town. That's fine. You don't have to do it fast. What's important is disproportionality. You want a full intake. Fill your lungs. Don't stretch them. Don't make them bleed. But fill them. You get really high. And do this before your technique. You want to lie down, try to get unworlded, have a ubi or whatever they call it. You know what ubi means? O-B-E? Just add a Y. O-B-E-Y. See, here at Unworlding University, it's not obi. It's not obey. It's methodless method of unworlding. Relaxation is the pinnacle of success. Learn to occupy that person that you are when you are incredibly relaxed, and happy. And then lie down. Do some breathing. Meditate all day. Never worry about nothing. It's not a crisis. Deal with it if you have to. If you can't deal with it, then don't. It's not a crisis. Because guess what? We all survive death. Because awareness can't be killed. Okay? Bye.